Animation is around at the moment in a rather small way. In 20 or 30 years' time, it will be around in quite a big way. It's going to keep growing because we're moving into an audio-visual communications area. It's going into colleges. People are going to learn from the screen as opposed to books. We can open the top of people's heads and make things come out. We can take the work of a surrealist like Magritte just that much further. Well, my film started to be seen in art houses, the Academy, the Cameo, Poly and cinemas like that. Distributors said, well, they're not cartoons. And I would say, well, if they're not cartoons, what are they? And they would say, well, we don't know what they are, but they're not like Bugs Bunny. And I said, I know they're not like Bugs Bunny, but I can assure you that they are cartoons. I don't know, it may not work at all, but I think it might work. Remember that. I teach at Guildford because I like to be around young people. I think these are the TV producers and animators and directors of the future. We're trying to create a kind of womb, if you like, from which will emerge all these terrific filmmakers of the future. And you don't have to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can have 1 and 5. If you flick 1 and 5, you'll see that 1 and 5 work. This fist comes over. Yeah. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. Move them around all over the place, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay. Edward Muybridge was analysing movement before the advent of the motion picture camera. And at school, we used these Muybridge photographs of human beings and animals in motion to analyse the way that people run, walk, jump, skip, dance. When you photograph them with a motion picture camera, they come to life.
If I had a talking picture of you, I'd run it every time I felt the fool. I'd sit there in the gloom of my lonely little room and applaud each time you whispered, I love you, on the screen the moment.
One of my students at Guildford is doing a gag about a man who sits in a really saggy, baggy armchair, and this armchair turns into a hippopotamus, which then turns into a bath and a toilet. It's a very nice idea. You just couldn't do this in live action. It's a pure animation idea. There's no point in doing something in animation that could be done very much quicker and much easier in live action. Animation should deal with surreal things, with fantastic things, impossible things. And because there are no limitations in animation. The only limitations there are within the animators themselves. There's nothing you can't do. This is the terrifying thing about it. This is the exciting thing about it. You name it, it can be done in animation.
The thing you can't do in animation is to convince people that this is real, that it's really happening.
It's just one sort of step off and they say, that's a funny little cartoon fella, so it's not really real. But that can be an advantage too, because I did things in Henry 9 to 5, which, because I did them in animation, I got away with them. If I'd done them for real in live action, people would have gone, yeah, you know. But because it was animation, I made the point, and I got it over, and I got away with it.
I don't like my job very much, but I have discovered a way of defeating boredom and all its vicissitudes. I think about sex. I try to think about sex all day. When I see a nice buxom girl like her, I mentally undress her and imagine myself chasing her entirely nude through fields full of daisies.
This we can still show people fantastic things. We still have the capacity to shock and to amaze. It isn't necessary for us to go to the moon. It isn't necessary for us to go to the top of Mount Everest. It isn't necessary for us to drop a little tiny miniature camera down inside somebody's stomach. If we can imagine it, if we can draw it, we can shoot it and we can show it. And that is what is so exciting about this medium.
Our film now on 2 is a comedy adventure starring Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, artists and models.